The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is December 24th, 2019, episode 170. And this week, chip in, chip out, and get chipped. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you fringe news with views from biblical pages, podcasting live to rattle some cages. That's right. Doing those live,
was that a
Basil.
New one, or was that the one from?
It's a variation from Jason's last week from the community. So I just changed the second line to podcasting live to rattle some cages because this is live, right? We're doing this live. People don't know that. We are live to tape. We are live to tape. That's for sure. We used to do it live on Discord, but nobody showed up for it. So I don't know. Like us.
And yes, we're just live streaming. Sometimes we'd have a few people in there, but we always record at such crazy times that it wasn't working.
No, it wasn't.
Who knows? Maybe moving forward, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. We have this new community thing, and it comes at a really good time. I think it's almost like an arc, Basil, because something happened, and this sounds like some other word, but it starts off with the word Facebook. But it's a little cut off. But there's a story out.
Facebook is investigating another huge data breach, this time affecting more than 200 million users. A security researcher discovered the database containing the names, phone numbers, and user IDs of 267 million users. Now, the data was posted to an online hacker forum for 10 days before it was removed. And the security researcher believes that the stolen data will be harvested by criminals and used for identity theft, spam messaging, and also phishing campaigns.
Our worst nightmare.
Campaigns.
Yeah, our worst nightmares come true.
She says that. Phishing campaigns. Well, that's right. Hey, we tried to tell you, Facebook is not the place to be. I think they cut off the word Facebook at the front on purpose, maybe to dodge some Facebook algorithms from taking down their video or something.
Yeah, that's possible.
I bet that's what it is. So there you go. Over 260 million Facebook accounts available on the dark web, folks. So just go get it.
Go find all the Facebook info.
Yeah. So that's a great reason, Gonz, to talk about the new Canary Cry community. Now, many of you, 2,000 of you, are members currently of the Canary Cry community on Facebook, and we still recommend, hey, if you're still on Facebook, search out Canary Cry community, join the club. It's a bunch of Canarians just like you who listen to the show, and it's a safe space. We love safe spaces. It's a safe space to talk about really anything. I mean, we got memes, we got cats, we got conspiracy theories, we got also some much more nice things like people praying for each other and meeting each other and finding Canarians in their area. I totally recommend people do that. But more than anything, we recommend, we're constantly talking about how horrible Facebook is and how everybody needs to migrate off. So now is my pitch for that. canarycry.community. Yes, that is a real URL. You can go to canarycry.community, and we have a brand spanking new, very robust community website going on over there. It's more of like your classic forum, but it's got all this fun new tools and social things involved, and it is completely disconnected from Facebook, and so you can connect with other Canarians just like you who listen to the show every week and are just cool people. I mean, we got all the cool kids have gone over to the community first, and again, that's canarycry.community. If that URL doesn't work for you, some browsers don't support it, you can just type in www.canarycry.community. It'll get you there. Get in there, sign up. You'll make an account. Yes, I know, a brand new account, because you can't sign in with your Facebook account like the rest of the internet. Okay? Yes,
or your
you
Google
gotta make
account.
a new account. That's right. No Facebook, no Google. This is totally insular, and that's just the way we like it, folks. So again, head over to canarycry.community because we tried to tell you.
I tried to tell you. It's chaos. It's a mess. I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen. Do y'all hear me now?
That's right. Y'all hear me now?
I hope they do.
Facebook people. All right, Gons. Let's just jump right into the Flippy update here.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Yes, okay, I want fries with that, Flippy. Here's the thing. This is just going to be a very simple Flippy update. For those who don't know, every show is somebody's first show. Flippy is our colloquial name for just a lovable, disembodied robotic arm that is taking our jobs and enslaving our children and flirting with our spouses. And today, I'm just giving a little update on our favorite Canadian robot arm, Canada Arm 2. We reported on Canada Arm 2, oh man, must have been at least a year ago. And this was a robot arm created by Canadians for Canadians.
Really pandering to our buddies up north there, Basil.
Hey, we got a lot of great Canadian listeners. And basically what's happened now is the Canadians have donated it to NASA, and it's connected to the outside of the International Space Station. So truly international when we got Canadians up there.
What?
So
it wasn't international enough before. It's just having Russians up
Canada.
there, no good. But Canadians now we're really
Canadians, the Chinese. We needed the Canadians. Okay, so let's see here. This story says here, NASA News astronaut's stunning picture shows robotic arm grabbing a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
It's grabbing the Dragon.
Right. Yep, I'm not going to read the thing. I mean, it's a pretty long article.
I'm not going to read the thing.
It's just a long article about how Canada Arm 2 grabbed a thing in space. And so there you go. Good job, Canada. Your arm grabbed a thing in space. That thing needed grabbing, and you made it happen. So we appreciate that. My favorite thing in the article is it says, NASA said, quote, "The crane is called a robotic arm for several good reasons." And then it says, basically, it's an arm. It can lift things. So we call it an arm.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. I won't drag that out anymore. But just so everybody knows, I wanted our Canadian listeners to know that we appreciate their contribution to the International Space Station.
And robotic arms as a race.
Yes. And just robotic arms in general. Yeah. This one's a big one. It's the biggest one. It's like 17 meters.
Oh.
Which is... Yeah, that's like humongous. It's like hundreds of feet. And so, yeah, they really know how to do it. It has like 5 joints, hundreds of meters. This is not your standard Flippy. Man, but if we could put this giant robotic arm to work making giant space fries, I would not complain.
Or giant space signs that say Canary Cry News Talk. Yeah.
Yes, we'll just have it start. We'll give it a LED at the end and just have it
flashing,
spell out Canary Cry Radio really fast, like a raver. You know those ravers that have those gloves.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Get on it, Canadians.
Are you ready to become cyber?
Transhuman, make way for the Homo superior.
This is from WCJB.com. Utah man implants Tesla key into hand. And this is the first of 2 stories. Utah man, yeah. First of 2 stories of just people getting microchips. Yeah, and just
a little chip update.
Yeah, everything is very chippy now. And so rather than read it, I'll just play the clip for you.
Ben Workman is one of a few people around the world who are turning to cybernetic implants. Simply speaking, they're different kinds of computer chips that let you do different things. With his, Workman can unlock his car, unlock doors at work, log on and off of his computer, and share contact information using the same tech that's used for Apple Pay and Android Pay. You may be wondering what inspired someone to do something like this. For Workman, it's pretty simple.
In all reality, it was a experimentation and curiosity.
The process to get the chips into Workman's hands wasn't as simple as his motivation, though.
On the first two, I actually didn't have anyone. I tried going to a veterinarian, to a doctor, to a piercing studio. No one would do it.
Workman ended up getting a family member to do it for him.
To get them in, they come in syringes that you just place under the skin and then pop the tags out. Except the Tesla key.
The Tesla key required a bit more work, so Ben managed to convince a piercing studio to help him, but they weren't too keen on the idea at first.
But the piercing studio was an interesting one. I figured that they would be fine with it, but they took one look at the thing I had in my hands and they said no.
Workman also has a magnet in his left hand.
Which is literally just a magnet. It doesn't really have any interesting functionality besides just magic tricks and fun stuff. Say I try and convince them a banana is the key. And then I held a banana up and it unlocks the door.
Whether it's practical jokes or practicality, Workman says he's excited to see what he'll be able to do next.
Oh, wow. So nice.
Did you notice?
Watching him try to unlock, so the key to his Tesla is on the back of his hand. Yeah. And so to unlock the Tesla, he has to do this weird, like really awkward back of the hand swipe on his Tesla.
Yeah, it's very epic looking, like... like you're, did you notice that when he was logging into his Tesla, like in the car, one of the things that said not the NSA?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, I think it was like a Wi-Fi signal or something, but anyway.
Is that another fun little joke? Man, these chips, they just keep coming. They just keep coming. And it's kind of like potato chips. You can't just have one. You got to just keep every spare inch. I think we figured out. They just have to keep putting them in.
I think we figured out the true propaganda behind that whole campaign.
Yes, they've been working on us for years.
Yeah. So this is kind of part 2 of the whole cyborg thing here.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
All right, so this is dailymail.com or .co.uk. Yes.
Can you believe there was ever a time we did this show without jingles?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel right to not have jingles anymore.
Have you listened to any of the old episodes without jingles? I don't know how we even got through an episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't know.
The jingles are the only thing keeping me going. And just to let people know, I mean, you are listening. Hopefully you're listening to this on Christmas Eve, and we are recording this so late at night once again, as we usually do. But the Christmas times, they're rough, man. They're rough times. And so I'm sure you can tell I'm dragging a little bit.
This is a great moment to bust out this ISO that the Patreon people will get the reason and the whole full context behind, but I'm going to use it here.
I can't deal with it right now, Basil.
Let's move on here. Let's go back to the story. And if that's not a good pitch or a reason to join us on Patreon, I don't know what is. Okay. Bionic woman gets implant in her body to open doors, send business cards, and glow after a car crash broke her back, ankles, and knees. That is the longest headline, but it's dailymail.co.uk, so it's not really surprising. Yeah. Another person with a microchip. An American engineer who was involved in a near-death car crash that shattered her back, ankles, and knees has told of how she had various implants and enhancements to upgrade her body. Self-professed transhumanist Winter Mraz, 31 years old, who currently lives in Liverpool, said the implants under her skin help her carry out day-to-day activities. She has 2 microchips to open doors and send information, as well as LED lights in her arm and magnets in her fingers. And there's a few pictures of her, putting a phone up to her wrist and things like that. And
nothing super new. I mean, it's all stuff that we've seen before.
Yeah, nothing crazy. But I guess it's the volume of stories coming out with people just openly like, yeah, microchipped, and a lot of them are, people that are. It's a mixture of people that have bionic arms after losing an arm, or something like that, or in this case a car accident, but also just people like the first story of just a guy who's just like, I want to do it, and
that's a great point, and I'm sorry to hijack this, but am passionate about it. Yeah. The first guy, I like the first guy a little more because he's just like, you know what? Yeah, just wanted to see if I could do it. Just wanted to see if it could happen. And yeah, it could happen. And this woman, she's got in a car crash, which is very sad. And it talks about her process. First, she had a 3D printed kneecap put in, and then she has a contraceptive implant in, and she has kind of like some of these normal medical implants, and then she started getting the weird ones, like the business card in her hand that she can like send to people's phones, and the magnets in her fingertips, which are by all accounts useless, and and she got the 2 LED lights in her forearm that kind of just light up just for fun. And this is the thing with her quote is, "My implants are proactive versus reactive. Instead of waiting until something negative happens to me and then fixing it medically, I can now get rid of some of the worries I might have."
But the example...
What are you talking about? Like what?
No, she gives an example. The next sentence.
Yes, but okay, I'll get to the example. Okay, like, have I forgot my keys? Yes, no, I haven't forgot my keys because they're in my hand. Yeah, okay, we get it. You can open doors with your hand chip. But the magnet fingers, she says she can feel magnetic fields and find wires. Like, okay, cool. There's a lot of other instruments that you can use for that stuff. You don't need actual magnets in your fingertips. And the LEDs in her arms. Like, what proactive use does having 2 tiny little LEDs in your arms have? Anyways, I'm just saying,
the life of the brave. That's really the goal here, right?
Okay. I mean, that's a good point. She can wave her magnet fingers over her LED arm and
or just waiting in line
from space
at like during a
boredom, fidgeting. I guess there's some like fidgeting possibilities here. Some kids have fidget spinners.
Whoa! Do you have a cat jumping on things over there or something?
No, that was actually me, a human who did that. Good. Sorry, I knocked over something. So, I'm just saying, I think the first guy is a little bit more intellectually honest with this. And that's all I'm looking for, people.
Yeah.
Just be honest about it.
Well, that's part of the issue as well, is that a lot of times, this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen the example of, my car, I could never forget my car keys. It's just not a good enough reason to microchip your hand.
I mean, if it means, submitting your soul to the Antichrist,
I probably guess, not a good enough reason. even just practically. Come on, folks. Anyway, moving on here.
Who knows? People like this stuff. Okay, here's one that's a little bit more spooky. This is SmithsonianMag.com. So this is, by all accounts, highly credited institution here.
Hold on. You have to play jingles, man. What are you doing?
Sorry.
What are you doing?
I wasn't looking at the doc. I forgot we had jingles.
The 4 horsemen of the technopolis. Anytime you see the 4 horsemen, it's something special.
We should all just vaccinate. Herd immunity. Get your shots on.
Get your shots on.
Okay, you're right. I can't believe I almost passed up those jingles.
Yeah, why?
Okay, the headline of this is, "This spiky patch could invisibly record vaccination history under skin." The human body is an extraordinary record keeper. Tattooed into its skin are the scars of old wounds. Archived in the molecules of the immune system are the traces of past infections. But when that history gets translated into written medical records, things can quickly get dicey. Every lost sheet of paper or inaccurately tallied statistic can raise a person's risk of receiving inadequate care, an especially pressing issue in low and middle income countries, where healthcare resources are often scarce or inaccessible. The consequences go far beyond a missed injection. Inconsistent record keeping is thought to play a large role in the 1.5 million deaths that occur due to under-vaccination each year. Now, a team led by MIT scientists have come forward with a bold proposition that could write a legible vaccination history back into the body's repertoire. Solving medicine's record-keeping riddle, they argue, might just involve injecting patterns of invisible nanoparticles under the skin, like QR codes. These designs could be scanned and interpreted by smartphones and someday allow health providers to archive and access patients' past vaccinations without the muss and fuss of external records. Yucky.
External records.
Yucky. That was like a Baby Yoda sound. Yucky. He doesn't actually say that, but that's what I think all babies are now. The tattoo-esque technology described today in the journal Science Translational Medicine is still in the early stages of development and hasn't yet been tested in humans. But the team's experiments in rats suggest these medical marks are both safe and long-lasting and can be administered alongside vaccines without compromising efficacy. If the team's research progresses, future efforts will focus on delivering the technology to children in low and middle income countries, where many still rely on paper cards or certificates to track their vaccination history. Oh, God forbid we have to track something on paper. But other experts caution that both technical and ethical hurdles might stymie its implementation, including in places where new tools to combat the spread of diseases are needed most. Quote, figuring out how to keep better track of vaccination is incredibly important from a health system and public health perspective, says Johns Hopkins University bioethicist Nancy Cass, who wasn't involved in the project, but injectable nanoparticles that reveal private information about a patient, quote, could be ripe for misinterpretations and rumors, she says.
Rumors.
That's especially true given the fraught history of vaccination in countries at all socioeconomic strata, including the United States. And I was like, what are they talking about? Fraught history. Okay. What are they talking? What's going on here? And I hit the link and it takes me over to a New York Times article behind a paywall. So I have no idea what fraught history they're talking about.
You can't be on the end.
I couldn't even imagine because I'm not paying for the New York Times. Let's see here. This is a pretty long article. But what is going on here is when you get a vaccination, they have a patch that has the pictures of it, they look not insignificant spikes. Just little spikes.
Those are pretty long spikes.
They look like some real spikes. And what they do is they put this patch on you and it injects through these nice little spikes some nanoparticles in a certain pattern. And so, there's a lot of talk, especially kind of in the 90s, of the Mark of the Beast stuff. You can, there's like barcodes, you know. Have you ever seen this in illustrations and kind of early 90s kind of prophecy stuff is we're all going to be barcoded when the dystopia comes. Well, this is quite literally a barcode. It basically is like a QR code of nanoparticles that gets injected into your skin and leaves a mark in a certain pattern. And then doctors or whoever can come by with a phone and scan your little mark there and at least figure out your vaccination history.
The giveaway, the reason why we had the two jingles, the vaccine jingle and the Four Horsemen of the Technocalypse jingle, is because Bill Gates is one of the horsemen, the Four Horsemen that we have pointed out, although, those seats are, they could be replaced if someone else comes out and starts really making a case. I think Elon Musk is another one, and Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. Yep, I think those are 4, right? Jeff Bezos, or are we missing something? Did I make a mistake? No. I think that's right.
Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, What was the last one I said? Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. So it says here, with similar concerns in mind, the researchers led by bioengineers Robert Langer and Anna Jaklenik are preparing to conduct surveys to assess whether the invisible tattoos will be accepted by locals in high priority regions. Backed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Interviews in Malawi, Bangladesh, Benin, and Kenya will begin early next year. So, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation still over in these African countries, trying to poke people with nanobots now. Crazy.
Yes, and if that's not ringing your bell, if that's not ringing your bell, just go ahead and search Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation vaccines and children's death in third world countries,
and tribe people like running away from the foundation to avoid getting
whole countries, citizens banding together to beg their government not to let the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation come in and give them vaccines.
But they give us money. What do you want us to do?
Yeah, we don't have enough time to cover that whole story today.
Yeah, and it says here, there's another part of this article that I wanted to just make sure to highlight is over the course of 2 minutes, this is how this whole process works. The nanoparticles diffuse from within the microneedles to a shallow layer of skin where they're deposited in simple patterns of dots, each smaller than your garden variety freckle. The patch is then removed, leaving behind a subtle mark that can still be imaged after being exposed to the equivalent of 5 years worth of sunlight, the team's experiments show. So
I think this is something to actually look out for. Okay. So here's the thing. We don't do a whole lot of anymore. We try not to call too many shots as far as the whole mark of the beast thing goes. But, we'll talk about, they're calling this a mark. It leaves a mark. It's basically a barcode, just in a different way. And, who knows if with all the rules getting tossed around and the proposed legislation about, if you're not vaccinated, if your kids aren't vaccinated, they can't go to school, they can't this, they can't that. Soon it'll be, you can't go to a public place, you can't go into a store, you can't buy something, you can't work, you can't sell.
Go to Disneyland.
If you're not vaccinated, you're not allowed to live in society. That's if we're going to extend the current ideas out just a few years. Yeah. And I think that matches the mark of the beast description quite well. All that's left is, hey, you got to take this little barcode thing and put it on your forearm or your head. And that's the only way you're allowed to participate in society. We've been watching these vaccine legislations go through. And if not go through, at least be proposed, which is, once they start getting proposed, it's only a matter of time before enough people start jumping on board.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with just not having the choice. That's where the problem is. The vaccines themselves, there's issues with them. And obviously there's people that have,
Hey, if people want the vaccines, that's totally fine. Go to town. But, a government forcing its people to do anything like that is wrong. And on that note, thank you guys so much for listening to our sort of extra sleepy Christmas Eve episode. We really do wish everybody a Merry Christmas or whatever you're doing at this time of year. Whether you have a Christmas tree or not, whether you celebrate Jesus's fake birthday or not, we wish you all the best. And we just want to take the opportunity to thank you and thank God for you for listening to the show, and especially thank those who are heading over to the Patreon. Patreon.com/CCNT. Over there, guys, I gotta say, most of this year, starting last December, was very sad. We were in the red every single month on Patreon, losing Patreon supporters just hand over fist. And we could not figure out why. It was a complete mystery. But starting in about October and November, things started turning around, folks. And I have no idea why, but whatever it was,
it's the jingles.
People started, yes,
it's gotta be the jingles.
It was that people started heading over to the Patreon. Here's the thing, over on the Patreon, you can not only just support this show, but you also reaffirm our commitment to not selling your attention for our own personal game. Most other podcasts, especially ones where the podcasters are stable, if not, making some money, they almost always are doing it with advertising, and sometimes against their own will. But advertising, you get enough of that. Facebook is collecting your data, selling it for their own gain. Google is collecting your data, selling your attention. The television, they'll show you ads. They're just gobbling up all the attention you give them. And we made a commitment a long time ago to not abuse the attention that you guys give us. And those of you who have gone over to patreon.com/CCNT to support that decision are the true heroes, and we are grateful for you this Christmas season. And if you are not yet a Patreon supporter, here's the thing. Not only do you need to go to Patreon to stick it to the man and prove to the world that you don't need to sell your attention to be able to continue making a good product, but when you go over to patreon.com/CCNT, you get an extra episode of Canary Cry News Talk every single week. We do 2 episodes. Some of you don't even know that. And some of you have been listening to your 2 episodes of Canary Cry News Talk every single week, and you get it. And you're getting the extra stuff. There's all sorts of extra jingles and references, and we test out new stuff over there. It's really fun. So first of all, grateful from the bottom of my heart, and I'm grateful from the bottom of Gonza's heart.
Whoa,
handler
speak.
The CIA is grateful that you are affirming my work here with Gonz. And here's the thing, folks. It's the only way that we can keep doing the show. So if you've been listening to the show for 10 episodes, 15 episodes, 100 episodes. Shoot, we're coming up on 200 episodes. I mean, we're going to hit 200 episodes in 2020. If you have gained anything, even if it's just a half hour of entertainment every single week for the entirety of the show or whatever, what is that worth to you? We're really working on a value for value model here, and that means you have to get involved. So don't wait. Don't sit here and say, oh, good, Basil's laying it on thick again. I'm sure he'll get somebody to go on over there. You are the person, listener, the one with the earbuds in, riding the bus, driving your car. You might have a baby in the car. I don't know how I feel about that, but hi, baby. I love you. And wow, I'm going way off track
to invisible
here.
Babies now.
Talking to the babies. I know there's babies listening.
Yeah, there probably are.
And, if you have babies listening to this, you need to go to patreon.com/CCNT because there is a lot worse stuff that your baby could be listening to.
It's true.
So anyways, thank you again, all you Patreon supporters. And those of you who have not joined yet, I am confident that you will do the right thing this Christmas season and support your favorite podcasters and get rewarded for it at the same time. We're trading value for value. We'll keep making the product if you guys keep supporting. So there you go. Patreon.com/CCNT. Thank you guys so much. And if you are looking for people just like you, the types of people who listen to this show and all the shows like it, you need to go to canarycry.community. You can search Canary Cry Community on Facebook, join up that way. But here's the thing, y'all got to get off Facebook. We're all in agreement of that. I don't need to convince you to do that. So you need to head to canarycry.community. You got to make an account. Sorry, you can't log in with your Google account or your Facebook. This is completely separate. All the information is as safe as Discourse makes it. And it's a great place filled with Canarians just like you. We got hundreds of people over there. Literally hundreds have already made the switch. And so go on over there, go to canarycry.community. There's a great discourse app on your phone, your iPhone or Android. Just search Discourse Hub and you can add the Canary Cry community to that, have it right on your phone. It's the only social media I have on my phone now. I'm just kind of trolling around on Canary Cry community. And Gons, I gotta say, folks, I'm an admin on canarycry.community. I can see the statistics on everybody's usage. I'm happy to say Gons Shimura is the most active user on Canary Cry community. Gons, we finally found something you can do on the internet.
Yeah, it's easy and it's fun.
Number one user.
Am I really?
I'm gonna start. Yeah.
I'm trolling everybody. Is what basically is going on.
Here's the deal. I'm gonna make for every 100 people that go join the community, I'm going to give away another piece of statistical information from your profile.
Wow, that's really
That's what I'm going to do. I'm saying it now, folks. If every 100 people that join the Canary Cry community, canarycry.community, go there now, join, make an account. Every 100 people, I will give away another piece of statistics from Gonza's account because I can just watch him trolling around, enjoying, liking posts, responding. So go do that. I'll be there too. And here's the thing. Most importantly, during the holidays, you're out there, you're with your friends and your family, and you know they are still getting their news from the mainstream sources, and even worse, they're getting it from Facebook. You need to grab them by the cage and shake it.
Canaries in a cage.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
It's gotta be biblical.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right. I realized I made such a big deal about how a canarycry.community, we don't take your data and sell it. And that's exactly what I'm doing to Gons. So join the community and I will give you Gonza's data for free. Also, that's a nice support jingle. If you don't want to sign up, if you're not a fan of Patreon, you can also go to canarycryradio.com/support, make a donation in any single amount, a little Christmas present, or you can sign up for recurring donations there. We are still working, folks. It is not New Year's, it is Christmas Eve, and we're still putting out shows. So if that's important to you, please support the project. We appreciate it, everybody, and thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Keep an eye out for your extended report coming out today, and make sure to tune in next week. But until then, think outside the cage.
I can't deal with it right now, Basil.